Hello viewers, welcome to another video. It's been a busy few days for me, Autosport International, doing some other stuff as well, which I'm hoping to be showing you very soon. Very exciting for the year. The Autosport stuff is currently in editing, so that's going to be a few more days. So I thought I'd catch up with a little bit of news. This is the first of two sort of news videos looking at some of what's been going on in racing games and a bit of motor racing over the past week. The first one picking up on Rfactor 2 and cars. Now I don't have those running at the moment on my PC, so instead BS Nismo has kindly lent me some of his videos for me to have a ramble on about. Let's check this out. Okay, so first then, looking here at a little bit of Rfactor 2. I haven't had a chance to play it myself yet, so I can't come back to you guys obviously on the handling of it, but visually, as you can see, it's nice with these old effects. It really gives you that kind of old feel. And looking at Spa there, it's amazing. Spa is one of those circuits that's really changed. It was just so ultra dangerous. As we move on to a bit of cars here as well, this is a nice little merger here that Nismo put together of the different games. You can see the tyre flexing, lots of little details, you know, lighting effects and stuff. Obviously some of that is post-processing from him, but at the same time it certainly gives the atmosphere of how good these games are really looking, and you know how they both have many attributes between them, and are both still very early products as well, so still a long way to go with them. Night effects there in Rfactor 2, looking good so far. And there's a nice sort of intensity to some of this footage he's filmed here. Fast and furious racing on both games. Nice little effects. We have a few special effects in there as well. The old F1 cars, the Le Mans prototype series as well. Some of you may have seen the new Toyota. I'll be looking at that on a future video. The new hybrid car that they're going to be using in the season this year. As we go on to Project Cars. Now I haven't had a chance to play Project Cars since October time. It hasn't worked on my PC, so I'm still awaiting my invite to Slightly Mad to come back and test it on their system. But when I do, I'll give this a whole bunch of laps. But in the meantime, there are lots of videos online of it as it's developing, and Nismo here is an excellent driver. I think I used one of his videos on viewers early last year on Shift 2, and he's showing here all the same skills again as he navigates his round here, way round here around the Connecticut Watkins Glen circuit. Quite a tricky circuit, you know, quite bumpy here and there, different types of textures. These downhill corners are always tricky, trying to get on the power, making sure the grip comes back to the car. And you really do want to coast in, you don't want to hit that curb on the inside, you know, it's going to be no good for you at all. So lots of nice detail on the graphics at this really early stage. Cars does look absolutely fantastic. The Formula B that we're on board with here, handling has been constantly improved, and one of the key things people want to see improved is of course force feedback, but as ever, this is a very early version, so everything you see, everything you play is likely to be improved a lot for the final version. But it's always encouraging to see how it's coming along all the time, and it'll be interesting to learn more from the developers of how community feedback has formed this and how much was actually in their original plan in the first place. So there was a quick lap of that circuit, and as I say, coming along very nicely. Could do lots of laps there myself. And now on to Rfactor 2. Now this is a two-part video that Nismo has filmed. A bit of touring car action. Starts off overcast and the day brightens up as it goes on, so you can see the lighting change, and we'll change this in a bit. Nice close racing here. Obviously this was when he first got the game, so he's still learning the handling, nuances, everything else. I look forward to trying this myself and putting it through its paces, and I'm sure the modding community are keen to get stuck in as well. Graphically, you know, at the moment the focus for Rfactor is slightly different to cars. They are looking more at the sort of environments and lighting systems and everything else, and working on a realistic handling model as their key focus, but there's lots and lots of environmental detail to see. You can see that for yourself there, especially on the Monaco circuit. It looks absolutely fantastic. Project Cars is certainly looking a lot more glossy, but we'll just have to wait and see from a package point of view how they all shape up. Nismo tries to keep on the pace through this section, losing a bit of ground. You can see here later in the same race, you can see how the weather conditions have changed and it's brightened up, which is a really nice effect. Always nice to see. Field all pretty bunched up there, trying to find a way past. Unable to do so this time. These races are long races, and like you say, you do just want to keep yourself in the mix without making any silly moves and letting the race come to you, and an opportunity comes there past two cars as well. So he's obviously finding his feet as the race was going on, getting quicker and quicker. Touch on the back of the other car there, and that's lost him a bit of ground down this straight. Maybe lacking a little bit of power as well. Field coming up behind. So close racing, looking good. You see again the overcast conditions coming back. It's a nice effect. Again, it'll be interesting to see how Rfactor develops, Rfactor 2 develops over the coming months, and what feedback the community give it, and how they can aid in the development of it as well. So this is one that's going to be around here for some time. Another circuit here from Rfactor 2 is the Monaco at night. Monaco was a great circuit, not one you often see driven at night. An older car here, very tricky, minding those curbs up the hill. Not often you see Monaco at night at all. Actually, it's a wonderful coastline. You know, very, very pretty, all the way down to Nice and along to Cannes after that. Of course, usually they have a curfew at night, so if you don't live in Monaco, you get given the boot early on. So many people will never see it this time. It's probably a bit brighter than this these days though. This is based on an older version of the circuit. I'm not exactly certain which year, I should ask them. It's a little bit brighter now, a lot more buildings and stuff. I had a wander around the circuit a few years ago. It was a great adventure actually, going down all the different walkways that lead off of the circuit and seeing what was around the corners I'd never been able to get round in a game. Along the coast here, of course, very dangerous. Back in the day, guys would smack into the wall there, something crash through the wall and end up in the sea. A lot of them would get killed along this coastline. Very, very, very risky for the crowd as well, sitting behind hay bales most of the time. It wasn't really the most practical way to enjoy a Grand Prix if a car smacked into you. Of course, as we always say, safety has improved in motor racing immeasurably in the last few years, and you look back at these archaic sort of cars and tracks and think, blimey, how did anyone survive? They really were so risky to drive and watch at the same time. So a nice lighting on that track. I like the dark areas, you know, and the way they've done the lighting. It's really sort of effective, gives a good feeling of speed, and you will need massive concentration. But of course, I thought no video is complete looking at Nismo's videos without a little bit of iRacing as well. I've been playing some iRacing recently. Really enjoy it actually. It just proved to me that my PC just currently isn't up to it, and I need a better PC. And even though iRacing runs on a relatively low powered PC, you know, once you've got a really good frame rate on it, all singing, all dancing, especially on triple screen displays, it looks absolutely fantastic. You can see here some really nice effects, you know, really nice body work on the car, and you know, suspension and physics detail to iRacing. It does feel really good, and the circuits always look fantastic as ever. So hopefully we'll be doing a lot more on iRacing in the coming months, and I'll be showing you a few videos of myself having a muck about testing the new CSR Elite wheel on it. Certainly a great feel on that. So those videos are to come, as well as a 15-minute iRacing race from Autosport International with the iRacing guys racing the Radical guys. Certainly some heated tension in there as they battle for glory. It's not a clean race, but sometimes, you know, under pressure it never is. But anyway, that's a quick look at some of Nismo's videos. So a big thanks to BS Nismo for lending me the footage of these videos to use on the channel here today. Don't know what the BS stands for, but I'm sure it's good. And the games themselves look fantastic. I mean, Cars has wonderful visuals, and they're improving the handling all the time. And the one thing people have asked for is improved force feedback, and that's developing, but it's still at a very early stage. But at such an early stage to look so good, it's very promising that the final product will be a definite purchase. Rfactor 2 has been in development for a very, very long time. Its focus is much more on the physics side of things, and the graphics are developing bit by bit, but obviously the modding community will have their involvement there as well. I certainly feel at the moment that Rfactor, you know, when it comes to graphics, Project Cars has got it on graphics, but Rfactor has the changing times of day and other bits and bobs to it. So each one has its sort of pros and cons attached to it, and not forgetting a little bit of iRacing in there at the end as well. I've been playing a little bit of iRacing recently, and I've got a couple of races to show as well. Not me racing, a little bit of me driving, but of the actual iRacing guys there, Kevin and Sean. They're going to a bit of over-the-shoulder cam of them in a very competitive race at Autosport International. But that's it for this video. We've got more news videos to come, plus lots of other stuff in the coming days.